Greetings. Welcome to Speak Nerd and Enter.
All right, Mandolorian, season 3, episode 1, the opener. Everybody saw it here. Who wants to start?
Kelly didn't see it, so we booted him out.
And I doubt
Forget
seriously
Kelly.
he ever will.
Yeah.
So, who wants
quick question. In this case, do you think he's missing anything?
No.
What do you think of the episode?
I thought that episode sucked, to be honest. I felt very much like that. Special effects were good. Let me start with the sandwich method. The special effects were good. A sandwich without another piece of bread. Just one piece of bread and then all kinds of crap.
In the middle.
Special effects were good, and that was it. I felt very much like I was being taken on a video tour of Disney Navarro and the day players for the pirates of whatever Space Corps thing they were going to be, with British accents for some reason and all that. And I want to drink in here. Well, that's not a bar anymore, it's a school.
That's a school now.
I want to drink in there. Well, the bar is only like right down there. No, I want to drink in there. That kind of stuff. It was just, oh my god, that was awful. That was awful. And the whole thing with Baby Yoda being back. Look, I don't mean that. Well, I don't care if it's a downer. I didn't write the damn thing. They did. But Baby Yoda being back is a mistake. Should have left him with Luke. I'm serious. There was story progression there that left with meaningful change to the story itself that people were going to have to deal with or enjoy, not enjoy, whatever, right? But the world had changed. It progressed along. That was great. As soon as you bring him back, I may as well be watching like Three's Company or something like that, where the world changes all throughout the episode, and then by the end, everything's back to the way it was, right? I thought that
Mr. Furley.
That that sucked hard, man. That really did. That bummed me out a lot. The whole thing did. How did the kid's helmet in the beginning? Puts on the helmet, this big ceremony, puts on
Never
the
going to get any bigger, apparently.
They give he ain't going to get any bigger. Yep, that's right. Never take it off.
Just
Never take it off. That's right. Strangle himself over the years. So, how did that thing make the ceiling noise? You went, like with the whole thing with Vader's helmet when they put it on and all that.
With his hair sticking out.
Yeah. With his hair sticking out. There's no seal. What the hell?
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, hold on.
The blade
I saw the same thing. It is entirely possible that inside the helmet there's a thing that just goes over the mouth and nose. You don't know. It could be.
I thought about that, and then I thought, no, that's stupid.
It is stupid, and more likely it was a sound editor after the fact. It was good. You know what would make this sound cool?
Yeah.
There's no defense for it. It's just dumb. It's just dumb.
That was dumb, man.
No. Sean, you've yet to mention the dumbest part of the whole show, and that is the robot who's self-destructed can be repaired. I'm like, what is the point of a self-destructing robot?
Look,
if you can fix it.
I'm trying to keep the video short, and I'll be very clear. There were so many bad points to this video, to this show, that I cannot put them all in there. That goes under the umbrella of the Three's Company thing, where meaningful sacrifice, moving the story along, making it something where there's actual change, and then for whatever reason, the boys in marketing or whoever's in charge of, I gotta have IG back. Bring him back. Well, he blew
Bring him back.
He blew up. Aren't there parts left over? Can't you do? Have you ever seen a tank explode? Have you ever seen, a bomb go off? Have you seen that? Have you tried to put it back together? It doesn't work.
Lava?
Right. And here's the thing, like, there was no compelling reason why it had to be that droid. We know that this guy doesn't like droids. Like, we've established that. But he came to have, I guess, grudging respect for this droid. Yeah. But that's the only droid that it could possibly ever be. I need this droid to help me do a thing. And I'm like, oh, cut. So it felt like, and I don't think Robert Rodriguez had anything to do with this episode.
I don't
but
think
boy,
so.
did it feel like he might have had something to do with this episode.
Felt like Kathleen Kennedy did. But how do you trust? Because it was all about trust, right? I need a droid I can trust. Take care of the baby. So you start this, by the way, how is the chest still there? Even if you're bringing pieces of the droid back.
That's where the bomb was, right? That is where the bomb was.
Right.
Yeah.
Vaporizes everybody, but apparently he looks really good. It looks like you shove a battery in there and he's good. His legs came off for some reason.
His legs were in the lava, like the rest of him.
The chest was amazing. So they stick a new battery in him, start him up, and what's he do? Tries to kill the baby. So instead of him saying, I guess I can't trust this droid anymore that I just had to shoot down again. Nope. Got to find the chip. I trust this droid, even though he tried to kill the baby just now.
And these writers are self-aware enough to have a character go, there's lots of droids. We have so many droids. We just get another droid. Right? So this is not some oversight that somebody didn't think about.
There's no other droids. There's no other droids. None. No other droids in the Star Wars universe.
The trifecta would have been, and they may still do it, is at the end of an episode, they have the Ugnaught brother of what's his face come driving into town on his blurg and hook up with the Mandalorian and fix IG, and now the band's back together, right? Except for the chick who's out because she was politically incorrect. And
so she's off in special forces now. What a convenient way to write her out of the episode.
The only good part of the episode is they didn't humiliate her. She's a great actress. She's a great character, and they didn't freaking humiliate her, which is what I expected them to do. So,
right.
Thumbs up for that, but at this, like you were saying, Sean, there's so many things wrong with this episode. I have to say, the topper for me, it was a two-parter. How did he get through the door of Babu Frick's enclave? And no squeezy. No squeezy was a toy. That's like, we're gonna make this toy. Now we have the squeezy toy.
I have to watch some reactions to see how various people react to that part, because
they were squealing with joy.
I got ill at that. No, bad baby, bad baby.
Baby bad. Baby bad. No squeezy.
But I wonder, were there people out there who were just like sugar overload? Just, oh my God, that's amazing. Cuteness, hugging on cuteness and all that. How did your wife
same people that like Velma like that scene?
Did she like
that?
I
will admit, I don't think we're off to an auspicious start. Now, here's the thing. I don't mind Baby Yoda being back. I'm with you in that I agree. I wish he was with Luke a little bit longer, because then when he does come back, it shows a little bit more stakes, and it also shows a little bit more growth, and it gives him a chance to be a little bit more powerful and knowledgeable in the Force, right? Because let's be honest, that's what we all want, is if he's going to be a Baby Yoda, he's supposed to be super crazy powerful. But if you spend a weekend learning at Jedi camp, that's not really, we're not going to come back and be like, oh, great, he's going to be this amazing quasi-Jedi.
Don't you think it would have been far more interesting to have parallel stories? So you have parts with the Mandalorian, then you show him with Luke and he's trying to learn. Then you can have some sort of thing that you're building towards where they have difficulty and they got to meet together and, all that stuff. You can bring them together later. But you don't have to get rid of Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda can have some kind of like vision like Luke had when Han and Leia were in trouble, and he's like, I have to go. My friends are in trouble. Right? If you're going to go that route, like he's training with Luke or whatever, and then the Mandalorian's going to get in some kind of a bind where Baby Yoda can like show up and save the day or show up and be of assistance in some way. I'm with you. That is not a deal breaker for me. I'm willing to see where they go with it, because this kind of lone wolf and cub thing they got going on works for the show.
It just feels so contrived now.
Yeah, it is. It's nowhere, like that should not even be mentioned at this point. It shouldn't even be mentioned in the same name, in the same breath as Lone Wolf and Cub, because that story is so infinitely superior to this crap that they're puking out now. The sad thing is that the Obi-Wan series was so atrocious that this looks good by comparison. Between Obi-Wan and Boba Fett, the Tales of Boba Fett, the story of Boba Fett, they were so atrocious. Book of Boba Fett. Yeah, they were so atrocious that this now, even though it's lackluster and nowhere near comparable to season 1 or even season 2, it looks like a gem compared to what the crap they put out in the last couple of years.
But I feel like this one really took a step back backwards in storytelling quality compared to the first 2 seasons. Yeah, and the thing like Bo-Katan, right? Okay, so she loses the Darksaber, and she's all upset about that because that was her goal, was to get that and be the leader. And then he comes flying in, amazing castle, cool. You got a CGI picture of a castle, and they're like, "That's a castle." And she's what, just hanging around all day on her throne, pissed off, like pouting. That didn't make any sense. I'm sitting there like, "Oh, I'm all hanging out, upset. You still have the sword? No, I left it somewhere. Come on." Man.
I thought of you specifically, Mark. There, I could hear you, through space and time. I could hear you saying, "Oh my God, I'm so tired of I don't want to be a hero. I don't want to be all that kind of character, where they just lose all their motivation and just you can't get your sword, so you're going to take your ball and go home, to the palace. No, you be the king now. You do it. I don't care anymore.
Katie Sackhoff,
everybody left. They just took all that cool stuff we had. It felt, like Moff Gideon. They just arrested him and they run him off screen. We don't see anything from him. Darksaber's gone. All the ships that they captured and all those Mandalorians, they're gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, I get it. They're probably going to bring all that stuff back and blah, blah, blah. But as a setup, it felt like, let's get rid of this stuff we don't want from the previous season.
And it felt a little, get rid of them.
What's going on?
See, Rich, you brought up Boba Fett. That's not what I was comparing it with. What I was comparing it with was Andor, because you had Andor. Andor came out just before this.
Oh yeah, we're coming off Andor, which was
Andor was so good that it didn't even. I didn't even think about Andor because I consider it to be like a separate creature. I didn't even relate it to this. Andor was so good and it was such a one-off. It was like, I enjoyed it so much compared to this.
I was so hoping somebody there was going to think, you know what? Maybe we should kind of try to merge the two a little bit. Not quite so dark as Andor, but much better written than Boba Fett was. Because we went off in this goofy direction, but we got this one here that worked out really well. Let's try to bring the two, maybe meet somewhere in a nice workable middle there. And instead, they went full on Boba Fett, but with better special effects.
Yeah, they went full campy.
Yeah.
Season 1 of Mando was very dark. It was very gritty. It was very old Western.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he was man with no name, right?
It was more. It was more gritty. I don't know if it was like super dark, but it was more gritty.
But I mean, comparative to the bright, shining Star Wars.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah, but I felt like every one of these pirates was written and directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah. Yeah.
They all came from Pirates of the Caribbean. Like that's exactly what they reminded me of.
Well, didn't it feel like you were walking through the amusement park, Disneyland or something, and they got some day players playing these characters, and this is a scene you see play out on the street, and the little kids are running up there. No, you stay away from Mando, and all this crap, trying to get them involved and then go buy the plushies. It felt like I was seeing some video of, here's a day at the park there. Now you can go build your own, lightsaber.
It was a toy commercial
out there. Yeah, it just
commercial.
Man, that bummed me out. That bummed me out bad.
Yeah, it was a shame. It was, I was expecting much better. I figured, okay, maybe they've righted this ship a little bit. They're back to the Mandalorian. No, they're making the same mistakes that they made with the other two shows, and they didn't make with Andor.
I think all we can hope is that it's goes up from here. You know what I mean? Like as a season opener, it was somewhat disappointing. I freely admit that. But we've seen from the previews that they're going to bring in a bunch of Mandalorians and there's going to be some other stuff going on. So, at this point, I'm reluctantly still in, but I think overall this first episode was pretty disappointing.
It was, man. And it was so good. It was so nice being able to show up and talk about Andor and just how good that was, and have something positive. So
everyone who should have liked it hated it. That's why everyone is like, "Oh, I hate this. This is terrible." I was like, "No, you're not seeing the same show that we're seeing." What this show reminded me of, it reminded me of movie popcorn that's kind of stale. When you go to the movies and you don't get the fresh popcorn, you get the popcorn that's been sitting in the bin for a while. And you can eat it, and it kind of tastes like popcorn, but it kind of gives you a stomach ache after you're done. That's what this reminded me of. It reminded me of stale popcorn.
Well, I guess we'll see. Like Mark said, we'll see what happens in the next one. Let's hope. Let's hope that something drastically changes.
All right. Yep. Stay tuned.
All right, guys. Thanks, man.
All right. Bye.
This concludes our Speak Nerd and Enter broadcast.